State Park does fall.
Coming your way, bro.
No, I'm not. No, I didn't. This is a special. I heard those were going out. I heard like there was one a couple weeks ago. I was in my car and I couldn't. For whatever reason, my number's not on that. Thank you.
Yeah, you're good.
All rise, please. We'll call the meeting to order. Mr. Hancock, would you lead the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Guffey, would you lead us in prayer?
Lord Jesus, for this day, dear God, we ask you to be with us, counsel, as we make decisions for this city. We're thankful for this city, Lord, and we ask you to protect it. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Okay, let's take a roll call, please.
Mike Guffey.
Present.
Jeff Hancock.
Present.
Jerry Walden. Aaron Dickens.
Here.
Mark Cover.
Here.
Glenn Perdue.
Here.
Rex Beckman.
Here. We have a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting.
I'll second that motion. Approve the minutes from the previous meeting.
I guess then I must have made.
I'll move.
Okay.
I'll so move.
Okay. So it's been moved and seconded. Roll call vote.
Mike Guffey.
Abstain.
Jeff Hancock.
Aye.
Jerry Walden.
Aye.
Aaron Dickens.
Aye.
Mark Cover.
Aye.
Glenn Perdue.
Aye.
Rex Beckman.
Aye. Now we come to the point where we approve or add to the agenda. I have a resolution ordinance I would like to add to the agenda. Once you get in front of you, I'll give you the reasoning of what it's about.
All these the same.
All the top ones are the ordinances, and the second stack is the resolution.
So one for the top.
Yeah.
What's the teacher?
I haven't separated.
Look, they got to put it back together, don't you?
Yeah,
Dig it in there.
Should give one. Bring it in.
I know it's in them, so.
Oh, okay. He wrote it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I know it, I wrote it.
Thank you, Jerry.
Okay, these two, the resolution, and we've talked about this, and we did not want to do this a month ago because it would look like we were trying to influence voters. But tonight, it really doesn't make much difference because of the time this gets in the paper. It's going to be Wednesday. A few people might see it on the live stream. But the resolution is a resolution to give each of our employees a $500 additional pay this year out of ARP money. And the ordinance is to allow us to do that through our salary ordinance. So, anyway. But I would like to add these to the agenda. If anybody wants to motion to add these to the agenda, then we can look at them, read them, and vote on them, yes, no, table tonight.
Rex, have we already done something like this in the past?
Yeah, two years ago. But we've got the money and feel like our employees deserve.
Well, I think it's important to remember, as I brought up before, during COVID, our city workers did not miss a beat. trash got picked up, emergency services ran, streets were patrolled, water flowed, sewage flowed. That's not good too. But the city operated, and I think they were very deserving of this.
Well, we just got to add it to the agenda, then we can discuss it. when we
I'll
get
make the
there.
motion to add it to the.
Second.
Okay, so it's moved and seconded to add to the agenda. Is there anybody opposed to that? Hearing none, we'll just consider it added. We'll move on to public comments and special presentations. Megan, would you like to come forward? Megan asked for some time to tell you about a program she's started.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for inviting
Oh,
me.
tell them your name.
Yes, I'm Megan Kraus, and I, along with Tiffany Youngquist and Shelley Hansen, are opening up a women's recovery center. So this would be for substance abuse, alcohol for women. I brought papers. Can I pass them out?
Absolutely.
Yes.
I should
You want me to
have
pass
stapled
them out?
them. Sure, I should have stapled them. Yeah. There you go. I'll keep these up here. If there's, I can just follow them.
Really
Yeah.
miss the classroom. Give them me, I'll pass it.
So I'll just give a kind of a short testimony. I won't make this heavy in testimony for Shelley and I both struggled with addiction. I struggled with alcohol for 27 years. She struggled with meth. Both of our addictions was rooted in trauma, right? So, and that's the thing with addiction is it's heavily rooted in trauma. That's usually the cause. I'll briefly tell my testimony real quick. So I was molested by my stepfather, and at 13, I then was introduced to alcohol, a bottle of Jim Beam. When I hit that bottle of Jim Beam, I fell in love with it. It took away all those feelings of shame, loneliness, fear, and it made me feel like Superwoman, right? So at 13, you can't cope with all that's going on with you when you have any kind of trauma, you know? And when you find a solution, like drugs, it helps and you go for it. So it's really a poor solution to a problem. And it seems like it works, but then it wrecks your life. But then you also have the chemical dependency that starts too, right? So you're dealing with trauma and chemical dependency. For us, we're going to be heavy in the trauma. We are trauma-based, trauma-focused to help get to the root of what caused the dependency in the first place. We are going to be a 7-month live-in program, so and that's minimum. It's really going to be depending on the woman. What trauma does she come from? What home does she come from? Right? Does she have a home to go back to? What her needs are. So we're going to meet her right where she is and help her get out of the dependency. There are many factors that go into that. There's many hands and feet that go into that. There's building a community for her afterwards, which we are hoping to do by the body of Christ. We are Christ-focused, so we want to connect with churches. We want to connect with people who will bring these ladies in and give them new people to hang out with, right, instead of going back to their old people. If you look at the top where it says 5 pillars, so these are just kind of things that we're going to focus on as we work with the ladies. One is their spirituality, right? The next is wellness, so just teaching them how to take care of their bodies, take care of their minds, maybe cook, learn to cook, learn some things that they just never learned growing up, right? And because they just weren't able to. Career and education, we want to focus on that, which is going to vary by girl. If we have a girl that comes in and she's reading at a 3rd grade level, well, let's get her to a high school level by the time she leaves, right? If she comes in and she has her GED or her high school diploma, then let's kind of just start talking to her about future plans of a career or college. I know there's a nursing home, I mean, I'm sure there's a few here in town that you can get, if they hire you, they will pay for your training for like a CNA, you know? So we're going to look into the community and see different opportunities for them like that too. Financial literacy, just how to manage a checkbook, how to manage money, how to save, spend, all that good stuff. And then relational health, and that's a big one with them, is learning how to have healthy relationships again with themselves, with their family, with their children. Right now, we will not be housing children. That is something that we've talked about to do in the future because it's very much needed. But coming out of the gates, we're not ready to take on women and children, right? We want to do this smart and take it by steps. We want to open up next spring, which is right around the corner. Thanksgiving, Christmas, and it'll be here. We want to be financially stable as much as we can. We are opening up a storefront, so we want to have finances coming in. We don't always want to be asking for money and dependent on grants or people, right? So we have things in mind to keep us financially stable in this area because it's going to cost quite a bit. Down here we have financial goals. The startup cost is about $55,000, and that's just an estimate. And then $11,000 a month, probably to operate. And that's with 3 or 4 girls, which we're going to start with 3 or 4 girls, and we intend to move up from there. Our big vision for this is I'm a country girl, and so I want to be out in the country. I don't want to be in the city. We will start in the city most likely, but we want to be in the country. We actually want to have equine therapy for these girls. So our big vision is a center housing many girls. We really want to combat this problem, and 3 or 4 women ain't going to do it. So we have big visions for this. Let's see. We actually do have the storefront, which is great. We were actually just gifted a place right by Cafe Royale, so we were actually gifted that, which is awesome. So we will be able to open that up and start generating money quickly. We do have a couple business guys on our board who that's their job, is make this center money. So, and then, yeah, I think that's about all I got.
What age group are you looking at starting out with?
18 and over. 18 and over.
How are you planning on locating these girls who need help?
Shelly Hansen is a chaplain at the jail here. They're not going to be hard to find. We know families who have daughters struggling, have nieces struggling. John Squirrels is on the board as well. They're going to come. I don't think that's going to be a problem.
Just through a community effort.
Yes.
And hopefully after you, sorry, Jerry.
Do you have any locations in mind at this point?
For the house, we do. We are talking to the First Nazarene Church. They have a house that they used to use called the Tabitha House to help young teen girls. And so we're going to go meet with them actually Friday. We've been in discussion with them for a good couple months, but yes, we're all going to go and speak with them, and it would be a good starter house. So yeah, it's one of our options.
And if you can get a few girls through successfully,
Right.
then you'll have more people want to come, and you'll have more people want to participate.
Yes. And we will know if there's anything in our program that we need to change, right? Like, how did this work? Were they followed through? Did we take care of them? Did we drop the ball here or there? Do we need more people? How many people do we need per girl? Because with this, we're looking for full restoration of these girls. It's not just drug tests and you did all the classes and you can go now. Like, we're digging deep and watching them and learning them and making sure that they are really ready, because we want them to go out knowing God's purpose in their life, and they're worthy, and that they can take this on, and they don't have to go running back to the drugs. So,
is there a difference for you between a lady that is homeless and just off of her prescription drugs that needs help? I mean, mental health, or are you solely based on drug?
Yes, we are focused. We want to have our space and stay in our lane, which will be, yes, substance abuse or alcohol. Yes. And that's what we are. I know that there's like a transitional homecoming, which is great. We need it desperately. But this is our lane, is the substance abuse. So we can really focus.
You have your 501c3?
We do.
Perfect. And then what can local governments, talking city, county, townships, whatever, how can we help all of this be successful?
I'm not sure because I'm not familiar with how all you guys can help. Of course, funding. If there's any buildings that you know of, any land that you know of, and then word of mouth, of course.
Are these all court-appointed people who come through the courts to you?
They won't all be, no, not necessarily, no. We will take, we don't mind taking court-appointed people. Sometimes they're not ready, they don't want it, right? So we will vet the girls. We're not just gonna, we want girls who are ready. Yeah. And that is sometimes, court-appointed, so. Especially as we have limited room, we have to kind of vet a little bit more. As I think we grow in room, then we can open the door a little more, right?
Will it be supervision there 24/7?
Yes. We already have a lady lined up that will be living with the girls. Yes. And so she will get like the evenings off, she'll get the weekends off, and then a volunteer will be there, or I or Shelley. But yes, we believe that we need somebody there at all times.
You said it was a 7-month minimum?
Yes.
Do they have the option once they sign up, say that's not fit for them or whatever, can they leave, or once they sign up, they have to stay? That was
I mean, they can leave anytime they want. Yes, they can leave anytime they want. Yes.
Appreciate this.
So, thanks for coming, and we'll, if we can figure out some way to help, we will. And, I want to say, when you go back, you do not have to stay for the whole meeting. We are not
Okay.
offended if you walk out.
That's probably what will happen.
That's fine. we tell our people that because we just want you to know that you don't have to sit
Yeah.
there. And now, appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys for listening. Appreciate it.
And then next we have Mr. Roussel. If he'd like to come forward.
Okay, all right, folks. My name is Renzo Howard.
Oh, I'm sorry. I got your name.
No, that's fine. First off, I'd like to start off by thanking our mayor, Mr. Greg York. He's attended my workplace on numerous occasions and bringing up disability awareness in March and bringing a proclamation to our facility. That's where I work. And then, secondly, police chief, I would like to extend my deepest appreciation for police chief, fire chief, and EMS department, because without these folks here, one day my vehicle, when I was driving, that vehicle was having issues. So the police chief allowed one of the officers to escort me home. That's going above and beyond the job he did. And then the fire chief sent out people on numerous occasions when I didn't have a home health aid show up. I'm in a wheelchair, paralyzed from the chest down. My hands don't work. I can move my arms and wrists, but getting up or getting out of my chair, if I don't have a home health aid there, I'm stuck. Bad situation. And then with our EMS, I wish I had more to say about each and everybody in here. But I have to say, and this is me winging it off the top of my head, Newcastle Transit and how it's ran and operated is probably how I've gotten to where I am. Now, if you see where I came from, I was paralyzed 14 years ago. Okay? And in that time, a year after getting paralyzed, I got a job. in order to get a vehicle modified for you to drive, you have to have a doctor. You can't just go out and have a vehicle modified. I mean, you can't get out of pocket. So you're looking at about $150,000 an injury that costs millions just to save your life and keep you around because you're bankrupt. So, but yeah, Newcastle Transit and all their drivers, I have most respect for all of them. Like I said, they have the document work long enough for me to brainstorm and figure out how to get my first vehicle modified. I did that. I brought it up here. A lot of you city officials, I had come down, look at it, check it out. You thought it was the neatest thing ever. Well, now today, thanks to you all, and well, hold on. Let me get in rumbles. It's on the spot there. Before I go too far. Sorry, I have a password. Okay, so it starts out with everyone's quick to call and complain when things go wrong, right? Well, nobody ever wants to call, give a compliment when everything is right. That's what I'm doing here today. I'd like to compliment you all on your services to our community for going above and beyond to make this one of the best communities. You all deserve a round of applause for not only yourself, but your fellow city workers. So give me a small clap for yourself. Off of myself and all of my accomplishments here today, with such a great gratitude of Henry County and all the surrounding counties, along with all the resources in these areas, has made all my dreams result possible. I now have a uniquely modified vehicle that will require certain types of accessible parking. In nice days, I'll be able to park anywhere out and about in buildings, but when it's cold and rainy or cold and snowy, I often park to where it's more accessible. And hopefully, you all and our city will understand that those needs it takes me into my next little topic here is the parking accessibility for vans and certain vans that have the drop-down limit with the 40 grand. Those striped lines are great. If they're wide enough, it's great. Sometimes people don't know and they like cross those. It's really a problem for myself and others. And not to say anything bad, but as you guys get older, hopefully none of this happens. But if you do have to come in on a ramp or a lift, or have to have your door all the way open before you get out with crutches, you understand exactly what I'm saying. You can't keep the door open. Like I was saying, I can't express just how much the transit was a key factor in me obtaining my job and a vehicle. Also, allowing me to move forward and pursue other opportunities, such as buying my house. If I wouldn't have had a vehicle modified, I wouldn't have been able to get out and run around for a house money. So I bought a house out in the country that's 5 something. Now, of course, I'm not in city limits, so the transit can't help me anymore. But hey, if they can do that for one individual in the city, that's ambitious and highly motivated himself, then the limits to that is endless. So I would highly recommend you guys looking into possibly extending the hours on the transit plan and if there's a budget for it, and perhaps maybe even going into the weekend. So that would be fantastic and phenomenal, in my opinion. And then after this meeting today, I'd like to invite all of you down. Our folks back here if they would like to participate. But I'd like to invite all you down to see my newest completed personal goal. Okay? All right, well, that's it. So that's for your time.
Thank you, Mr.
Well, I want to say I admire your drive and ambition. I've seen you grow in the last 14 years, and I've never seen any give up. I just truly admire how you've grown at work and the leader that you are there. I really appreciate all that you've done, and it's been a real treat to watch you grow also. So thank you for what you're giving back to our community. Thank you.
Well, I said to say those of you who are getting older too.
Yeah.
Okay, is there anyone else would like to come forward and speak to us? Mrs. Barrett, do you? Okay, all right. Well, I didn't want to, I didn't.
have a quick 30-minute speech.
Okay, all right, we'll just go on then. Okay, that'll bring us on to committee reports, so we'll start with Mr. Guffey.
Yeah, just a couple things. Thanks, Lee, for taking care of me today. I went by and looked at it. It looks great. But while I was there, who was in charge of that awful chug hole at 27th and Brown Street? That road has been cut, I don't know how many times. I got family that lives on that road, man, and they're on me all the time. That thing is probably 8-10 inches deep, maybe a foot deep, and 2 foot circumference.
Street
It's
cut?
huge.
Street cut?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's been cut so many times, I don't know.
The water department fills it in
It's,
quite often.
well, that gravel's laying in the guy's front yard there. It's bad, guys, really,
It's
honestly.
been turned over to contractor who's supposed to do the street repairs for quite some time. You fill up gravel, but they have to fix it.
I mean, I know that the state,
Actually, they went right to the old.
I did talk to him this afternoon. I told him make that top priority.
please,
Whose is it?
It's been on the list for a long time.
On New York Avenue, as you turn up 8th or 9th, right there by Carson Chemicals, just go to the road tracks, if you turn back south, there's barricades there even.
That's a water break, wasn't it?
Whose is that?
That was water main break.
Yeah, that's a water
Where,
break.
that Ninth Street, it tees into New York.
There at the pump.
Yeah, right in the middle, right in the
Yeah,
middle of
yeah.
It should be on the list as well.
Okay.
His, guy that's contracted to do it, his truck was broke down. He finally got it repaired. I said, man, let's not get a lot of complaints. I need you to get all these things. So he's actually the same guy that's gonna be striping the police department at EMS tomorrow. So he's gonna get started on this again Wednesday.
so you think we'll get it this week?
Get it filled in with stone.
Think we'll get it this week?
Pardon me?
Be done this week?
He's gonna start on a Wednesday. I don't know if it'll be done. 'Cause
I
what
mean, you
we
know,
do-
county was gracious enough and blacktop that road, Brown Street. Now, of course, it might be a good thing to leave it, but you can't leave it because people are flying off that road like it's an interstate. But I know, Jerry, you said it's been on the list for a while, but the people who live around there tell me that it's been like that forever. So I'm just going off what they
Are
say.
they gonna bring that
Yeah, it's
concrete or
been
the
on
glass?
the list. Probably don't-
What he does is he goes around, he tries to get 3 or 4 or 5 of them done, so when he gets a load of asphalt, take care of all of them.
Maybe some gravel until it gets ready.
I call them just about every Friday. They go put around every while.
But then I got another thing. Trojan Lane looks great, but I don't understand the trees we put in there.
Talk to Lynn.
And-
What would you like to know about the trees?
Well, there's some places it's causing a blind spot when you pull out of Forest Ridge. I personally use Forest Ridge for therapy. And man, there's a couple areas that it's horrible. Now, to have them down through there, I don't understand why trees are in the media anyway. But that's beside the point. But maybe we can just take care of those areas where it's creating that blind spot.
I know that area well. Those trees, they are the miniatures. At full maturity, they'll only be about 18 inches taller. Okay, so they don't have a big root system or anything like that, so I'm not going to do any
So
damage.
they'll be 18 inches taller than what they are now?
At full maturity, yeah. But I mean, meet me down there sometime, because I've heard that, and I've walked it,
And I think it's not a matter of taking all of them out.
Right.
It's
Just
There's
that
about
area.
that one area where you turn in and out of Forest Ridge,
Yeah.
because there's a hill right over there that creates.
Well, I'd like to-
It's really if you're, I'll show it to you.
Okay, okay. But yeah, you're not the first one, but there's a
Oh, no, it
minimum-
looks great.
There's a minimum of 150 feet between any tree on any of those crossings. And it goes up to 300 feet in some places. So I'm looking for those blind spots, and I'm yet to see one. So, okay. Pulling out of the west end of Forest Ridge?
If you come up from the east, and you're getting ready to turn into Forest Ridge, the traffic coming up, there's that hill there. As they're coming up that hill, what we have there now almost could create a blind spot to somebody in regular car. But if it grows a little much higher, I think it's going to be more. But I think that's the only place I really see. And then pulling out of there probably is problematic too.
Okay.
But I don't think
I
it's a
see it
problem
if
with the
you're
whole
going-
thing. I think the whole thing overall is good.
I see it if you're going west and you're gonna turn into the first entrance into Forest Ridge. I see it there, and then if they do get 18 inches taller, yeah, it's gonna be huge in that area too. So I think it's two spots.
Okay,
But I don't think
I'll go again.
But I don't think it's, you don't have hard fix. Just
Yeah.
look at it.
Okay,
Look at it.
very well.
And if you take out any trees, I mean, downtown could use some trees, so
We're not putting trees
Yeah.
downtown.
put that.
We'll definitely find it. If we have to transplant them, we'll find it.
Yeah.
There'll be something.
I don't have anything else.
Mr. Hancock.
Just one thing, I want to give a thank you out to Greg and Lee, taking care of some problems in Ward 2 for me. That's all, Your Honor.
Mr. Walden.
I want to bring up the homeless situation. Chief Schofield talked to us about it last time. I've been driving around to the different areas that I was aware of. And Chief Schofield took me around on a tour, what was that, last week? And he showed me some other places that I wasn't quite aware of. I guess what's my concern is at this time, it's forecast to be a pretty miserable winter here this year. Talking with some of them, what I didn't know, and Chief made me aware of this, they're largely local, correct?
Yeah.
You ask them what you can do for them, is there anything that they need? They just basically refuse it. They don't want people telling them what to do, in charge of them. And that puts you in a bad spot, because if you can't help someone, it doesn't want it. The neat thing that I found out is that our police pretty much know the people, and know where they are, and know where they're staying. The mayor's aware of it. I don't know how we can let them know, hey, if it gets really bad out, this is the place where you can go. I don't know if they'd even go there. That's what really bothers me. I'd say 90% of it's mental illness. There is drug abuse, there is alcohol abuse. I don't know if we need to sit down with our emergency services and come up with a plan. They may already have a plan. I don't know. I haven't talked to him other than Matt, since he was the one that brought it up. I think we need to be concerned with what's going to happen if the weather does turn bad. They're pretty approachable. I came upon one in the Arts Park, which is private property. Tried to wake him up to get off the bench and talk to him. And I wasn't there apparently, and when I went up to talk to Vicky, 5 minutes later he was gone. Well, with my background, I really don't know what to do.
Do you, maybe you or the chief, do you guys think that it would be of benefit if we were to use a little bit of ARP money to really go and buy some heavy-duty sleeping bags the police could have in their, in their trunks to pass out to these people if it...
The thing is, Rex, they
I know
stay
they have to
close.
want to do it.
They stay close to harvest because they get free food there. And you go around these camps and you see this food just laying on the ground. It's been wasted. You go in and clean up these areas, and they have the same amount of stuff 2 days later. I don't know where they get it at. I've been at this for about 2 months now.
It was a couple of years ago, one of the police officers checked on a lady 2:30 in the morning, and she was just minutes away from freezing to death, and took her to the emergency room and put her under blankets to get her warmed up. There's just such a fine line there that if you do provide for them and something happens, who's liable?
It's trouble. It really, you're right there.
It's,
And the other side of this coin is our business owners, property owners downtown are starting to get upset about trash being left behind,
Yeah.
waste being left behind.
well, they figured out that they can come to the 14 Air Plaza and charge their phones up and.
Do we have the ability to turn the electricity off at 14 Air Plaza at night, other than our lights?
We could, yeah.
I mean, that solves the problem of them hanging out there to charge phones.
But they charge it at noon.
Well, I know, but at least during,
I think we'd leave it off all the time until we have an
until we have an
event.
event, yeah, but I think that would be helpful just to do that.
They go down to the arts park to charge up.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, I just think we need to have a serious conversation. We've come up with a plan, whatever it may be. It's putting the police department in a bad situation. It's putting fire department, it's putting EMS in bad, it's putting the property owners in a bad situation.
Unfortunately, you have the guest house that nobody wants to live by rules.
They won't go by the rules.
They
I'm
won't
telling
go
you,
by the rules.
they told me
Yeah.
then that
Nope.
themselves.
Yeah.
And the police have taken them to there and went in and fill out the papers, then they vanish.
Right.
They don't.
I hope winter gets cold.
I think I think one of the biggest things is we all know with the mental health and the drugs, but we don't want these people to think that we're against them.
No.
Because their world, we're not there. We're not there. We don't know what their world's like. So, I don't want to, I think with everybody in here, nobody has an answer probably to this at all.
There's nobody in the country. There is no working model. There's no
it's
working
that way
model in the country.
Yeah, it just, it blows our mind, so I don't,
Because I look.
If there was a working model somewhere, we would be after that model.
And the thing is,
I just
Mike,
don't
I-
want these people to think that we're against them.
I think they trust the police department. I've got a good feeling. Because they trust them, because they know they go
Right.
there to try to help them
It's just,
out.
not been there, man. I haven't been in those shoes.
And you get to the fact of liability. There's Good Samaritan laws out there that we're covered. Anybody's covered under Good Samaritan law. So if somebody needs help.
Do we have any connections with pastoral association here in town?
Yeah,
Kind of
we
find out where the churches are.
Yeah.
I know where.
You still have to get people, you still have to get people to want to take part. Because the churches, we could get I bet we could get churches to open up and allow people to come there and sleep. But if they won't come there and sleep, or if they're taken there and they won't stay, you can't,
The only thing is, they can't take the drugs and they can't.
They won't follow the
That's
rules.
two things that they don't want to follow the rules. That's three things.
You gotta have rules.
And they're very upfront and honest with you, go up and talk to them. I mean, they really are. So just think about it and see if we can't come up with some sort of action plan with the emergency services to the administration has. I'm just really concerned about this winter, what the forecast is. So I don't know if we make a bulletin and say, listen, this is where you can go, pass it out through there. I don't know. They may use it to start a fire. Well, we keep doing that. I don't know. It's really confusing. When you talk to them, I had the background to try to understand this. And I'm telling you, I don't understand it. I don't get it.
I don't think anybody does.
So just think about it. I think that's all we can do right now. And if you want to go and talk to them, it's safe. I mean, it's safe. You see them on the sidewalk somewhere, just sit down and talk to them and have a conversation, because they do appreciate it. That's all I have.
Mr. Dickey?
Just a couple items. I know I talked about the Bells of Peace last time. November 11th, 11 a.m. If you have a bell, if you want to stand on your porch, play taps, whatever. 21 tolls of the bell. I think there'll be several churches. government buildings, I think courthouse. DAR is participating this year. It's been a community-wide honor, I guess, for several years now. So hopefully, if you're interested, if any of our buildings have bells, we can participate. And then I don't typically celebrate all the birthdays of my constituents. And I know the eve before election days, it makes it a little sketchy, but just want to wish my dad a happy birthday. That's all I have.
Happy birthday, Steve.
Okay, Mr. Coder.
I have nothing.
Mr. Perdue.
I have nothing.
Okay, a couple of things. I wanted to emphasize, because I heard sometime in the last week somebody talk about how our ordinances needed updated and how we weren't doing anything about that. I guess they had their head in the sand or something, because we passed the funding for a unified development ordinance, which will study our ordinances and put us in a position where somebody will be able to go on our website and be able to click on it in about 3 minutes, find everything they want to know about what they've got to do to build or put a business in or whatever it is that they're planning on doing. Mr. Harvey is in the process of reviewing the contract for the company to do that, and as soon as that's done, I'm sure they'll start having meetings and working on updating our ordinances and our zoning. So that is happening.
How long of a process is that, Rex?
What?
How
It'll
long?
take about a year.
About a year.
Maybe not quite that, but that's kind of what they say, just in case of that. Then I also wanted to mention a couple guys. I know we've talked in the past about our street sweepers driving along with the brushes up and nothing happening. And we got a couple guys now, Bill Pierce and Michael Ridenour. Those guys actually put the brushes down and sweep the streets. Now we're getting to a point in time where that's not going to happen nearly as much with the weather and everything. But I just want to kind of shout out to those guys, because I've seen them with them doing their job, and I appreciate that. And I got one thing I'll mention to Mr. Barkley later, and that's it. I'll pass that on to you, Your Honor, when you come back around on it.
Okay, all right. Chief, you got anything this evening? I do not. Chief? Kenny? All right. Dave? Counselor? Anything else? Brenda?
I do. I gave everybody a copy of the ARP. I got an email today. So anything, Rex and I had a conversation this morning. Some of the things are finished and probably need to be moved back into the unmarked balance, because all of the money has to be allocated by December 31st. Anything that's not allocated by December 31st has to be sent back. As long as it's allocated by the end of the year, you have until the year 2026 to spend it.
Brandon, I think it's December 31, 2024.
I thought they sent anything today for that.
I'll double check it. but
Okay.
I think it's 2024 and
Okay.
everything has to be spent by
Okay.
2026.
All right.
Well,
But
it
they're-
won't hurt us to claw back what
Clean
we
it, yeah,
aren't
clean it
using
up,
anyway.
but-
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
Anything else?
that's it.
Kendra? No? Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. Greg? Lee?
The only thing is we are busy busy season, and I just ask everybody to be patient. That road lead backs out, you go down one side of the street, and right behind us, people put the lead right back out. So just be patient, we will get you along, we'll run it as long as you can.
The only thing I have is everybody, don't forget to get out and vote tomorrow. Turn it over to you, Bishop.
Okay, thank you.
Well,
The mayor's given me the honor of reading a proclamation for the city of Newcastle. Recently, Lieutenant General Bruce Harris, the U.S. Army retired, passed away. So this proclamation is concerning him, and I'll read that now. honoring Lieutenant General Bruce R. Harris, U.S. Army, retired. Whereas Lieutenant General Bruce R. Harris was born and raised in Newcastle and graduated from Newcastle Public School System. Whereas he served our country for more than 33 years of active duty in the United States Army. Whereas his award and decorations included the Distinguished Service Medal, the Legion of Merit, the Bronze Star, the Meritorious Service Medal, and Air Medals. He was airborne qualified and a Master Army Aviator. Now therefore be it proclaimed that in the Henry County Board of Commissioners in the City of Newcastle honor Lieutenant General, U.S. Army retired, Bruce R. Harris for his long-standing service to his country, adopted by the City of Newcastle, Indiana, November 6, 2023, by Greg York and the Common Council of the City of Newcastle. This will also be read at the Commissioners' meeting on November 8th. General Harris was quite a man. I found out recently he was like the first person that was ever offered a full ride scholarship to a university. So I mean, for
From
athletics,
Newcastle?
from Newcastle. That's what somebody told me. So anyway, that's our proclamation for General Harris. And now we'll move on to our business. The first thing we have is resolution number 11062-023-1, authorizing the allocation of coronavirus local fiscal recovery funds for the provision of specified government services and further amending the city's written plan for expenditure. Now therefore be it resolved by the Common Council of the City of Newcastle, Indiana as follows. The Common Council hereby allocates a sum of $70,000 to the repair and replacement of the roof on Street Department building located at 239 West State Road 38, Newcastle, Indiana. 2, the written fiscal plan for expenditure of revenue received from the coronavirus local fiscal recovery fund is attached here too as Exhibit A, and each such expenditure is allocated to the replacement of lost revenue. The remaining sums received by the City of Newcastle through the coronavirus local fiscal recovery fund may be utilized for any of the purposes set forth at 42 U.S. Code 803C. The written plan for expenditure will be amended from time to time as determined by the Common Council in advance of any other expenditures. I move we pass this resolution.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. I do want to mention that I believe we actually have a quote that we. Is that correct, Mr. Martin? And they're working on, it may be less, substantially less than $70,000, but we'll call that money back if we need to. This will allow them to accept a quote and potentially get started. So, any discussion on this?
Is this a complete cover? Recover?
Yeah, for the main building up front.
One building?
On building one. We have 3.
Oh, the front building.
Front building.
Very front building.
Front line.
But he's talking about the
But the whole
office and the
building.
garage.
Yeah,
The whole building. But the whole building
Yeah.
one.
Yes, all building.
Okay. Seeing, hearing no other discussion, we'll have the roll call vote.
Mike Duffy.
Aye.
Jeff Hancock.
Aye.
Jerry Walden.
Aye.
Aaron Dickens.
Aye.
Mark Cooper.
Aye.
Lynn Perdue.
Aye.
Rex Beckdahl.
Aye. Now that brings us to the resolution that's in front of you. And this number, I need to read this as is.
You could put in the number we usually do, I think. You can do that.
That's it. And you feel that number's accurate, Brenda?
1106-2023-2 on the resolution.
Say that again.
1106-2023-2.
And you feel the number of 94,500 is correct?
Yes.
Okay, so the resolution would read the Common Council hereby allocates the sum of up to $94,500 for payment of supplemental compensation to each full-time city employee as described in the salary ordinance to be adopted by the Common Council. We have that same thing we always do with the written fiscal plan. I'm not going to read that. But then we will, in the ordinance, we will say that this is a $500 payment to each full-time employee and no elected officials get this bonus or stipend, whatever we call it. Anyway, I'm gonna move and pass resolution 1106-2023-2, and then we'll move on to the ordinance, which I'll
Second that.
Okay, any discussion? Now, I know everybody thinks this is much deserved by our employees, if anybody wants to.
Just ditto what I said earlier.
Okay, so roll call vote on that.
Mike Duffy.
Aye.
Jeff Hancock.
Aye.
Jerry Walden.
Aye.
Aaron Dickens. Mark Hoser.
Aye.
Lynn Prue.
Aye.
Rex Petro.
Aye, and that brings us to the amending the salary ordinance. What ordinance number is that?
Well, 3915.
3915. Okay. Only 3 readings on this one.
You will, yeah.
Okay. So we could suspend it if we want to. But anyway, now therefore be ordained by the Common Council of the City of Newcastle. 1, the 2023 salary ordinances are hereby modified as follows. A, all full-time city employees on the date of passage of this ordinance shall be entitled to receive a one-time lump sum payment of supplemental compensation in the amount of $500 less applicable withholdings. B, elected officials shall not be entitled to receive the payment described above. C, payment of the supplemental compensation shall be made by the clerk treasurer on the date of the regular payment of employee wages and compensation prior to December 15, 2023. Move to pass this first reading.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded. Any other discussion?
So this is just considered a $500 like bonus?
Yes.
We're gonna take care of these guys and make sure that is this gonna be separate check? Or is it gonna be?
Yes, this will have to be paid out of ARP, so we'll have to do a separate check for that.
And then pass first reading tonight, second reading next meeting, third reading, 1st of December, that gives you still 2 weeks to, is that enough time?
And we could suspend the rules too to pass this. Next meeting, which is probably, that gives her more time. All right, so hearing no more discussion, I'll do a roll call vote.
Before we have roll call, we do need to correct that. This is gonna be 3916.
3916. Okay.
Okay. Mike Duffy.
Aye.
Jeff Hancock.
Aye.
Jerry Walden.
Aye.
Aaron Dickens.
Aye.
Mark Hoser.
Aye.
Lynn Prue.
Aye.
Rex Petro.
Aye. Okay. So that concludes that. You want this, John?
Yeah, I'll make the edit of that resolution, get a copy of this.
Are we signing this today yet?
I'll get a copy for the next meeting.
We can sign it.
The resolution,
Yeah.
since we changed the number.
Pass
Okay.
it. Fair. All right, so that, meeting adjourned.
He really does. I've never had a